of people are familiar with the Skill Mag 77, you know, the saw that built America, a lot of people say. Milwaukee's got a cordless kind of version, same setup as some of those old classic saws. See how good it does today. All right, let's look at this saw. This thing is not for the faint of heart. It's big, it's really big. Also with the size comes quite a bit of power. You know, cordless technologies come where power really isn't an issue compared to any of the corded models. Even sometimes the cordless models have more power than the corded models because you're limited to 15 amps of power pretty much coming out of the wall. Some of these newer batteries make it possible to put more power into the tool than what you're able to get out of an outlet. This thing, like I said, it's big, but it's actually, for the setup, how it's set up, it doesn't feel too big because it's meant to be that way. It's set up just like a cordless or a worm drive would be set up. As far as the length of it and the size, it is not a worm drive, however. A lot of people call it a worm drive. It's set up like a worm drive saw. You got the handle and the back, the blade on the left, but as you can see here, the motor is in line with the blade. So it's kind of like a sidewinder. So normally on a worm drive saw, a lot of ones people are familiar with, you got the motor running this way, going with the blade, and then you got your worm drive gear here that comes off the motor that turns the blade. Instead of having the motor, you got where the battery is, and instead of having where that worm drive gear, they put the motor directly on the blade. But because of that, it does have the same setup and not really using any more space than a worm drive would, because you don't have that worm drive gear. A lot of times cordless, like cordless sidewinder, it takes up the same space as a corded sidewinder, except you got your battery hanging off your back. Here, you don't got to worry about that. So this thing, it's got all the stuff you see on a worm drive. You got your depth gauge going right here. This could be a little bit smoother. And then also, so right here you got your dust port. Most worm drives and even some other brands don't have a dust port, so that way when you're cutting, the dust is coming out right here and going down. So that's a little bit of annoying sometimes, this dust, especially if you're right-handed and you're using it and you're cutting like this, it's gonna fill your bag with sawdust. So it'd be nice if they had a block off, but it also comes with a dust port. If you're doing heavy demo or something and you want to hook it up to dust extraction, it has the ability to do that. This just screws off, and the new one, the dust port screws right on. You also got your bevel right here. It goes to 50 degrees. This is another thing with the saw as far as annoyance from it. Came from the factory. Look at my other video. I'll put it in there so you can see the fix that I did, but that's not from the factory. That's a little stopper bolt because it would go all the way around and unscrew itself. But so that's a tiny little modification I did just to make that better. Rafter hook's nice on this. Flips right out of the way. It goes on a 2x4 or a TJI. It flips in and out. It's got some detents so it stays up unless you want it out. It does have the wrench right here, so you can change the blade on it, so the wrench is on board. And it does have the diamond knockout, just like your Skill 77 would, so you have to knock the blade out for that diamond on there. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It feels pretty nice. It's a comfortable saw to use. It is definitely front heavy, but like any other rear handle would be. So for cutting straight down like that, it really got the benefit of doing that. It's got power. I can rip pressure treated 2x12s all day on this thing. I cut out plenty of stair stringers all in one 12 amp hour battery. This thing is really made for the high output batteries. It'll work on any M12, but really you want to use a 12.0 battery. I've used the 8.0 battery on it. Save about a pound and a half if you put that battery on it. But I really, with 12-0, weight's not too much of an issue for me because the design of the saw being the rear handle, you're used to that weight being out in front of the saw, and you can really use that advantage to push through some of the material and stuff like that. Power-wise, it's not going to have any problem. I think you could frame all day long on one battery. You might pick up a second one. I don't think you need more than 2 batteries to frame all day long, even a heavy-duty framer. I think 2 batteries would be plenty. It is a really, really good saw. There are a couple other saws out there that might feel a little bit smoother, but this thing has tons of power. It is a little pricey. I think the kit's somewhere around $450, $429 maybe for the kit that comes with 12-0 and the charger and the bag. I'll post links in the description as far as if you want to buy it. Maybe find some good deals. They do run deals every once in a while. They throw in a free battery. So if that's the case, that'll be in the description for this. So it'll run off of any M18 battery. It's really optimized for the high output batteries. So the 12-0 battery is really what it's optimized for. You'll get a lot of runtime on that. A little bit less runtime, but still pretty much the same power. You'll gain, or you'll lose about a pound, pound and a half. You can throw that 8.0 high output battery on it. Works really good with that. Cut depth, it's got just 2.5 inches of cut depth on it. So no problem cutting full depth. You can cut a few sheets at a time of plywood and rip it all the way through, save you some time. It's a beast of a saw and it's heavy, but like I said before, because of the design of it, that's not really an issue. I think it's actually lighter than the corded Skill 77 saw. You know, it's about the same, it weighs about the same as the Gen 2 Milwaukee Sidewinder saw, but because of the ergonomics of this and where the weight is, it's balanced a lot better as far as that weight being out in front of you. I've had it for a couple months now, went through quite a few batteries, went through a blade or two, and it's a great saw. I will hopefully be doing another head-to-head with, there's a few other worm drive styles on the market. You got your Makita. Hopefully I'll be getting a Hilti and a DeWalt soon so I can compare all of them together. So I'm not going to do a big head-to-head until I get the other few. If you're on the Milwaukee platform, it's definitely a saw to look at. So I hope you liked the review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, all this month I have a giveaway going on, so you could win yourself one of these batteries. All you got to do is make sure you like, subscribe, and comment what tool you'd like to see me review next for a chance to win that. Also, don't forget to check me out on Instagram for more daily stories, other giveaways maybe, and smaller reviews. So thanks for watching.